Unlimited Power, 30-minute English summary. Unlimited Power is one of Tony Robbins' most influential books. The main idea of the book is simple but powerful: human beings have much more potential than they usually believe. According to Robbins, success is not only about talent, intelligence, money, or luck. Success is mostly about how we use our mind, how we control our emotions, how we communicate, and how we take action. The book teaches that people who achieve extraordinary results are not necessarily born different. Instead, they think differently, act differently, and use different strategies. If we can understand these strategies and apply them in our own lives, we can also create better results. At the center of the book is one important belief: success leaves clues. This means that successful people have patterns. They have certain habits, thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. If we study these patterns carefully, we can learn from them. We do not need to reinvent everything from zero. We can model success. Tony Robbins explains that the quality of our life depends on the quality of our communication. This includes communication with other people, but even more importantly, communication with ourselves. The words we use, the images we create in our mind, and the meanings we give to events shape our emotions and decisions. For example, two people can experience the same problem, but they may react completely differently. One person may say, "This is a disaster. I cannot handle it." Another person may say, "This is difficult, but I can learn from it." The event may be the same, but the meaning is different. And because the meaning is different, the emotional reaction is different. This is one of the most important lessons of the book: events do not control us directly, our interpretation of events controls us. Robbins emphasizes that we are not powerless victims of circumstances. We can train our mind. We can change our focus. We can change our language. We can change our physical state. And when we change these things, we change our behavior and our results. One of the key concepts in the book is state. A state is the mental and emotional condition we are in at any moment. For example, confidence is a state. Fear is a state. Motivation is a state. Depression, excitement, courage, confusion, and determination are all states. Robbins explains that our performance depends heavily on our state. When we are in a powerful state, we think more clearly, act more courageously, and communicate better. When we are in a weak state, even simple tasks can feel impossible. So the question becomes, how can we control our state? According to Robbins, there are two main ways: physiology and focus. Physiology means the way we use our body. Our posture, breathing, facial expression, movement, and energy level all affect our emotions. If someone sits with their shoulders down, breathes shallowly, and looks at the floor, they will likely feel weak or tired. But if they stand tall, breathe deeply, move with energy, and look forward, their emotional state can change. This idea is very practical. Robbins says that emotion is created by motion. If we want to feel different, we should move differently. Instead of waiting for motivation to appear, we can create motivation through our body. The second way to control our state is focus. What we focus on determines what we feel. If we focus only on problems, mistakes, and fears, we will feel anxious or defeated. If we focus on solutions, opportunities, and strengths, we will feel more resourceful. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing where to place our attention in a way that helps us act better. Robbins gives a clear message: successful people ask better questions. The questions we ask ourselves direct our focus. If we ask, "Why am I so unlucky?" our brain will search for reasons to prove that we are unlucky. But if we ask, "What can I learn from this?" or "What is one action I can take now?" our brain begins to search for solutions. This is a powerful idea because our questions shape our thinking. Better questions lead to better emotions, better decisions, and better results. Another major theme in Unlimited Power is belief. Robbins argues that beliefs are like commands to the brain. What we believe about ourselves and the world affects what we attempt, how much effort we give, and how long we continue. If someone believes, "I am not good at learning languages," they may avoid practice, give up quickly, and prove their belief true. But if they believe, I can improve with daily practice, they are more likely to continue and make progress. Robbins does not say that belief alone is enough. Action is still necessary. But belief creates the foundation for action. If we believe something is impossible, we may never seriously try. If we believe improvement is possible, we start looking for ways. The book encourages us to examine our limiting beliefs. Many people carry beliefs from childhood, school, family, or past failures. They may believe they are not smart enough, not confident enough, not disciplined enough, or not worthy of success. Robbins says these beliefs are not facts. They are learned interpretations, and they can be changed. To change a limiting belief, we must first question it. We can ask, is this really true? Where did this belief come from? Has there ever been a time when I proved the opposite? What would I believe if I wanted to succeed? Then we can replace the old belief with a more empowering belief. For example, instead of saying, I always fail, we can say, every failure gives me feedback. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, we can say, I have not mastered this yet. One of the famous ideas in the book is the difference between failure and feedback. Robbins says successful people do not see failure as final. They see it as information. If something does not work, they do not immediately think, I am a failure. They think, this strategy did not work. What can I change? This attitude is extremely important. Many people stop after one mistake. But success often requires many attempts. If we treat every mistake as feedback, we keep learning. If we treat every mistake as proof that we are not good enough, we stop growing. Robbins also talks about modeling excellence. Modeling means studying people who already achieve the results we want and learning how they do it. This can include their beliefs, mental strategies, habits, body language, communication style, and decision-making process. For example, if someone wants to become a better speaker, they can study excellent speakers. How do they use their voice? How do they structure their message? How do they connect with the audience? How do they prepare? By copying the right patterns and practicing them, improvement becomes faster. Modeling is not about becoming a copy of another person. It is about learning useful strategies and adapting them to our own life. Robbins explains that success has a structure. If someone consistently produces a result, there is usually a method behind it. Once we understand the method, we can reproduce similar results. Another key concept is neuro-linguistic programming, often called NLP. The book is strongly influenced by NLP. NLP focuses on the relationship between the mind, language, and behavior. Robbins uses NLP ideas to explain how people create emotional experiences and how they can change them. One NLP-based idea in the book is that our internal images, sounds, and feelings affect our emotions. For example, when we remember a painful event, we may see it in our mind as a big, bright, close image. This can make the emotion stronger. But if we imagine the same memory as smaller, darker, farther away, or less intense, the emotional impact may decrease. This idea is called changing submodalities. It means changing the qualities of our internal experience. Robbins suggests that by changing how we represent experiences in our mind, we can change how we feel about them. For example, imagine a future goal. If the image is small, dark, and far away, it may not motivate us. But if we make the image bigger, brighter, closer, and more exciting, we may feel more inspired to act. This is a practical lesson. Motivation is not random. We can learn to create it by changing our internal pictures and emotions. The book also discusses anchoring. An anchor is a trigger that brings back a certain emotional state. For example, a song can remind us of a memory and instantly change our mood. A smell, a place, a word, or a gesture can become an anchor. Robbins explains that we can intentionally create anchors for powerful states. For instance, when we feel confident, we can make a specific gesture, such as pressing two fingers together. If we repeat this while feeling strong emotions, the gesture may later help us return to that state. The purpose is to access confidence, calmness, courage, or motivation when we need it. This can be useful before a meeting, presentation, exam, or difficult conversation. Another important part of the book is communication. Robbins believes that great communication is one of the most important skills for success. Communication is not just about speaking clearly. It is about understanding people, building rapport, and influencing in a positive way. Rapport means connection. When we have rapport with someone, they feel comfortable with us. They feel understood. Communication becomes easier. Robbins explains that people often like and trust people who are similar to them. This does not mean pretending to be someone else. It means paying attention to the other person's communication style and creating harmony. For example, if someone speaks slowly and calmly, speaking too fast and aggressively may create distance. If someone is energetic and expressive, being too quiet and passive may feel disconnected. By adjusting our tone, pace, body language, and words, we can communicate more effectively. Robbins also discusses different representational systems: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Some people think more in images. Some think more in sounds or words. Others think more in feelings. Their language often reveals this. A visual person may say, "I see what you mean." An auditory person may say, "That sounds good." A kinesthetic person may say, "That feels right." Understanding this can help us communicate in a way that feels natural to the other person. Another powerful lesson in the book is that energy matters. Robbins emphasizes health, vitality, and physical energy. He argues that success is difficult if the body is weak, tired, or unhealthy. Our mental performance is connected to our physical condition. He discusses breathing, nutrition, and lifestyle habits. The main message is that the body is not separate from the mind. If we want strong emotions and strong performance, we must take care of our body. This connects again to the idea of state. A tired body often creates a tired mind. An energized body helps create an energized mind. Robbins also talks about values. Values are the things that matter most to us. They guide our decisions, even when we are not aware of them. For example, one person may value security above everything. Another may value freedom. Another may value love, achievement, adventure, or contribution. If our goals conflict with our values, we may feel stuck. For example, someone may say they want to build a big business, but if their highest value is comfort and certainty, they may avoid the risks required. Another person may want a peaceful life but constantly choose goals based on competition and approval. Robbins encourages readers to understand their values and align their goals with them. When values and goals work together, motivation becomes stronger. The book also teaches that clarity is essential. Many people say they want success, but they do not define what success means. Robbins argues that vague desires create vague results. If we want to achieve something, we must define it clearly. A clear goal should answer questions such as, what exactly do I want? Why do I want it? What will I see, hear, and feel when I achieve it? What steps are necessary? What resources do I need? What prevents me now? Clarity gives the brain direction. Without direction, energy is wasted. Another important message is that action is necessary. Positive thinking alone is not enough. Belief, visualization, and motivation must lead to action. Robbins repeatedly emphasizes that knowledge is only potential power. It becomes real power only when we use it. This is a very important distinction. Many people read books, watch videos, and attend seminars, but their lives do not change because they do not apply what they learn. Robbins wants readers to become action-oriented. He encourages a mindset of testing, learning, and adjusting. If one strategy does not work, try another. If the second does not work, try a third. Flexibility is power. The person with the most flexibility in behavior often has the greatest chance of success. This is another major principle in the book: if what you are doing is not working, do something else. Many people repeat the same behavior and expect different results. Robbins says that successful people are flexible. They do not stay attached to one method. They stay attached to the outcome, but they change the strategy when necessary. The book also talks about personal responsibility. Robbins encourages readers to take responsibility for their results. This does not mean blaming ourselves for everything. It means accepting that we have the power to respond. Responsibility means responsibility, the ability to choose our response. Even when we cannot control events, we can control our attitude, focus, and actions. This idea is empowering because it moves us away from excuses. If we always blame other people, the economy, our past, or bad luck, we give away our power. But when we ask, "What can I do now?" we begin to regain control. Robbins also explains the importance of standards. People usually live according to what they consider acceptable. If someone accepts low energy, poor communication, weak discipline, or constant excuses, that becomes their normal life. But when they raise their standards, their behavior begins to change. Raising standards means deciding that certain old patterns are no longer acceptable. For example, I no longer accept wasting my mornings. I no longer accept speaking negatively to myself. I no longer accept giving up after one failure. Standards shape identity. When we say, "This is who I am now," we begin to act differently. Another valuable lesson is the role of environment. People around us influence our beliefs, emotions, and standards. If we spend time with negative, fearful, or unmotivated people, it becomes harder to stay strong. If we spend time with disciplined, positive, and growth-oriented people, we naturally rise. Robbins suggests choosing influences carefully. Books, mentors, friends, conversations, and daily habits all program the mind. The book also has a strong message about purpose. Power is not only about personal achievement. True success includes contribution. Robbins believes that people feel most fulfilled when they use their abilities to help others, create value, and live with meaning. If success is only about money, status, or ego, it may feel empty. But when success is connected to contribution, it becomes deeper and more satisfying. So, what is the main lesson of unlimited power? The main lesson is that we can take control of our life by taking control of our mind, body, communication, beliefs, and actions. We do not need to wait for perfect conditions. We can start now by changing how we think, how we speak to ourselves, how we use our body, and what actions we take every day. The book is not saying that life is easy. It is not saying that every problem disappears with positive thinking. Instead, it says that we have more tools than we realize. We can train ourselves to become more resourceful. One of the most inspiring ideas in the book is that human potential is not fixed. People can change. Skills can be learned. Confidence can be developed. Communication can improve. Emotional control can be practiced. Success can be modeled. This message is especially powerful for anyone who feels stuck. A person may think, "This is just who I am." But Robbins challenges that idea. He says that much of what we call personality is actually a set of learned patterns. And if patterns were learned, new patterns can also be learned. In practical terms, the book encourages us to do several things. First, control your state. Use your body and focus to create stronger emotions. Do not wait to feel confident. Stand, breathe, move, and focus like a confident person. Second, question your beliefs. Do not accept every negative thought as truth. Ask whether your beliefs empower you or limit you. Replace weak beliefs with stronger ones. Third, model success. Find people who already achieve what you want. Study their strategies. Learn from their mindset and behavior. Fourth, communicate better. Build rapport. Listen carefully. Understand how other people see the world. Adjust your communication to create connection. Fifth, set clear goals. Know exactly what you want and why it matters. A clear target gives your mind direction. Sixth, take action. Do not only collect information. Use it. Test ideas. Make changes. Learn from feedback. 7th, stay flexible. If one approach fails, change the approach. Failure is not the end. It is information. 8th, raise your standards. Decide what kind of person you want to become and what behaviors are no longer acceptable. 9th, take care of your body. Energy is a foundation for success. Your physical condition affects your emotional and mental power. 10th, connect success with contribution. Use your power not only for yourself, but also to create value for others. In conclusion, Unlimited Power is a book about personal mastery. It teaches that power is not something outside of us. It is not only money, position, or authority. Real power is the ability to direct our thoughts, emotions, actions, and communication toward the results we want. Tony Robbins' message is energetic and direct. You are not limited by your past unless you keep repeating it. You are not limited by one failure unless you decide to stop. You are not limited by old beliefs unless you refuse to question them. The book invites us to become active creators of our lives. It asks us to stop waiting for confidence and start creating it. It asks us to stop fearing failure and start learning from it. It asks us to stop living automatically and start living intentionally. The final message can be summarized like this. If you want better results, change your patterns. Change your focus. Change your questions. Change your beliefs. Change your body language. Change your strategy. Change your standards. And most importantly, take action. Because knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And when a person learns to use their mind, body, emotions, and communication with purpose, they begin to discover the unlimited power already inside them.